NFL Sunday Ticket is brought to you in part by Miller Lite.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Direct Connect Halftime Report. Nextel. Get right through.
Welcome back to Indianapolis, where the score of the half is the Colts 35, the Bills 17. Don Craigie with Steve Tasker. If you like highlights, we got highlights. Marvin Harrison's last 3 catches for the Colts have been for touchdowns.
And the big plays started very early in the first half, and they actually went the Buffalo Bills direction. Nate Clemens, the rookie cornerback, stepping in front of Peyton Manning's pass to Marvin Harrison and taking it the distance. This is one of the early highlights, and you thought to yourself, well, maybe the Bills came out and they've got something that Peyton Manning's not ready for. However, Edgerrin James on the flea flicker back to Manning to a wide open Jerome Pathan. And the Colts are on the scoreboard, and it didn't stop there. Peyton Manning going deep down the sideline. That's the first of Harrison's 3 touchdowns, and I'm telling you what, Peyton Manning is putting on a clinic, and it's all at the expense of the Buffalo Bills defense. Well,
Marvin Harrison's having a career. Manning probably heading for an all-time passing day. 258 yards in the first half. And his career high is 440, so he's going for records today in addition to a blowout win. As we look at the halftime stats,
you can see there Peyton Manning is absolutely on fire, and we kind of half jokingly said the Bills, it was good news and bad news. They intercepted his first attempt and ran it in for a touchdown. The bad news was it made him angry, and he's making them pay. In the first half.
Steve, I shortchanged Manning. He's got 324 yards passing in the first half.
And that was before, he had the 250 before the last 2-minute drive where he went in to score again.
Now Hunter Smith will kick off. The Bills will have the ball to open the second half. Spinning kick hit downfield, and here comes Tony Driver. Rookie right at the kick return team, and he takes it out across the 25-yard line. Driver was a 6th-round draft choice out of Notre Dame, who they think could really be good. He's a backup safety.
This is how good it's going for the Colts today. 4 TD passes. That ties his career high for Manning. Marvin Harrison, 3 TDs. These are all career highs for these 3 guys, and that gives you an idea of what the Bills defense is up against. They're spreading it around, and that's nothing to say about what Edgerrin James has meant to this offense. And now Rob Johnson comes out after halftime, still in the game at quarterback, doesn't seem to be limping.
Colts have scored 80 points in a game and a half so far this season. Here is the handoff to Travis Henry, and Henry takes the ball at the Colts defense and gets to the 31, a gain of about 3. Johnson with minimal yardage in the first half. He actually ran pretty well despite that ailing hip.
You know, it's amazing that 11 of 18 for 114 yards. He's still completing a good percentage of his passes, but
he's the leading rusher in the game. He's got 4 carries for 40 yards.
That's exactly right, but the problem has been to get the ball out of his hands, and those are the kind of statistics you have when you throw short passes, and just to get the ball out of his hands, that's what your passing game looks like.
2nd down and 6. Cutback run by Travis Henry, a 5'9", 225-pound rookie out of Tennessee, who is the University of Tennessee's all-time leading rusher. He had some fumble problems as a collegian. Not only can he run well, he can catch the ball.
Well, he runs well in traffic. He runs well between the tackles. He's got good speed. As you see him trot off the field there, being spelled. This is a guy that they're going to give the football to a lot this year.
You really like him. You've seen a lot of him.
I've seen a lot of him, and I do like him, and so do the Colts. The Colts, they have a lot of respect for him as well.
Let's see what Johnson goes to on 3rd down and 3. Here comes the rush. There's the throw completed to Riemersma. And Jay Riemersma, the big tight end, is ahead for a gain of 5 yards and a first down. He missed 4 games last year with a knee problem. He's had some injury problems.
The fact that Jay Riemersma missed a few games last year was a big part of the struggles they had offensively. When he went down, they went into a funk that lasted 5 games, and it took a long time to pull out of. And I think he is a big key for this offense because he stays inside the numbers and makes a lot of catches. Rob Johnson finds him.
Very sure-handed Jay Riemersma as Johnson now drops on 1st down. Well, they've cut the sack problems way down. And look at Johnson outrun everybody. Rob Johnson's down to the 35-yard line as he continues. That was a 23-yard gain, so Rob Johnson's now run 5 times for 63 yards.
Well, he wasn't limping up until that play right there. Now the limp begins to sneak back in. As you can see there, this is why, you know, Rob Johnson is a quarterback a lot of teams would like to have on. When he became available from Jacksonville, a lot of teams were standing in line, and Buffalo coughed up a couple of first-rounders to get him. And it's the reason is because he's got a good arm and he can run. And for a lot of teams, that's what they're looking for in their quarterback.
Actually has 63 yards rushing, Rob Johnson, in 5 carries. First down and 10. Johnson, nice throw. He gets it to Centers, makes a pivot move, and gets to head for maybe 3 yards down close to the 32-yard line, where Chad Cota brings him down.
And one of the things about this Bills team, now they've scored 17 points today, but their offense has started to look like it's turning the corner. They're starting to hang on to the football, make some sustained drives. Now, granted, they're playing against a Colts defense that has been beaten up a little bit, but this is the kind of progress I think the Buffalo coaching staff wants out of Rob Johnson.
Pitch back. Here's Travis Henry, runs into his own guy, and Henry is fought down at the 31-yard line and then thrown back. You don't get him with one guy. Throw a net over him.
You see there, right there, the pile. Look at this. They got 4 guys stacked on top of him, trying to unwind and get out of that pile. He hops up and goes back to the huddle. That's a good running back. Watch here the patience he shows. He tries to cut in, bang, bounces back out, and then Chad Cota hems him in, spins out of that, and that's when you get hurt, when you spin to your back to the line of scrimmage and take a shot from a defender.
Rob Johnson lamenting to us yesterday, Steve, when we met with him, the offense hasn't done anything all season, including the preseason. They do have 17 points, the Bills today, 7 from their defense, but they're down by 18. Here's an all-out blitz. Johnson gets it away beautifully, but his throw is off target as he beats the blitz with a throw attempt to Peerless Price.
Peerless Price was a little late getting his head around. You're right, Don, the Colts came with everybody right at Rob Johnson. And when he got the ball out there, Peerless Price didn't recognize it quite fast enough. They weren't on the same page, and that's the kind of thing that you don't see from the Colts. Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning think alike, and Rob Johnson and Peerless Price are still trying to find that chemistry.
Now a 49-yard field goal attempt by Jake Arians, who made a field goal in the first half and then missed one. This one is hit up on the way, and it is good. A 49-yard field goal attempt. So he's hit what, from 48 and 49 today. Rookie looks good. Bills get the long field goal from the rookie Arians. Now a high short kickoff from Moorman. Karam's out of bounds, so the Colts will start with good field position. And nobody gets hit.
That was a bad kick.
By the kicking team. By rule, the ball will be placed at the 40-yard line. Receiver's ball, first down.
That was just a bad kick. They were trying to kick it outside the numbers and short to give their coverage teams a chance to get down, maybe force a fumble, maybe even recover it. And Moorman just kicked it out of bounds. It was a bad kick on his part. But it was a gamble. It looks like, you know, you sense now that the Bills think they may have to do something special.
See, Edgerrin James, just 35 yards and 11 rushes. Well, they definitely have to do something special. They got to go deep into their bag of tricks.
And that 11 carries for 35 yards doesn't really convey how important he has been to this team.
He's also caught 3 passes for 43. It's expensive to kick out of bounds in the NFL on a kickoff. You start from the 40, does the opponent, and here is Manning play faking on the run. They say he's faster than he shows. That time he's tackled from behind is Jay Foreman, son of one of the great NFL players, Chuck Foreman, who started as a running back for the Vikings. Jay Foreman out of Nebraska. He can cover the whole field. He can run like his dad.
Yep. This is Peyton Manning. And the thing that makes Peyton Manning a little bit better in the pocket than he does, he has a great sense of where he can run and how to run. He always gets every yard that's coming to him.
And off. There is Edgerrin James breaking it up the middle. He's so dangerous in the Week 1 game against the Jets. On a 4th and 1. Jets brought everybody up. They gave it to Edgerrin James, and he broke it for 29 yards and a touchdown. And the Colts went ahead to stay.
Your watch there is Steve McKinney pulled around from his left guard spot, kicked out the defender, and Edgerrin James ran through it like nobody was there.
18 yards he ran through it. First and 10 Colts. Bills aren't changing their defense at all. Manning does all the play checking. Here's a throw and another connection as he gets it to Pathan. That time the Bill defender, Ken Irvin, keeps the receiver in front of him. Get free fantasy football advice, including updated injury reports and depth charts at cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Second down. 12th straight completion now for Peyton Manning. Ooh, that was nearly a pick. Ball came to the wrong side of the intended receiver as Keith Newman had a play on it.
One of the things that happens now, Peyton Manning has been during the no huddle. The Bills started early in the game to shift their front. When they thought he was going to snap it, they would move their defense. So what Manning has done, now look, they're a quick snap right here, Don.
Manning does well to protect the ball, so the Colts misfire on offense there.
That was a planned play. Now they've got flags all over the football field for illegal substitutions on the Buffalo Bills. They had 12 guys on the field trying to make substitutions, and Manning called his team to the line and quick snapped it, and it's going to go against the Bills.
Jim Mora.
And that's a brilliant play. Yeah, there it is.
Another smart play by Manning as he catches the Bills with extra guys on the field.
One of the things that happens, he'll try and get him a quick snap, and then it's a free play. Knowing it's a free play, he'll go for the home run.
5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
All the coaches talk about how Manning knows everything. Is Jerry Gray unhappy with the way that substitution went? The defensive coordinator, a guy who's got head coach someday written all over him when you meet with him.
He's impressive. He's impressive.
Well, he was a good player, Jerry Gray.
Yeah, he was.
University of Texas and with the Rams.
Also with the Houston Oilers.
Handoff, Edger and James breaks it back. They talk about the great back's ability to accelerate and cut back, change speeds, and Edger and James works for 7 yards.
It's interesting because a lot of the tactics that are being used right now, a lot of the important ones are happening before the ball is snapped. Watch as Peyton Manning will almost fake the snap.
Handoff. Here is Edger and James, and a good tackle is made by the rookie middle linebacker Brandon Spoon. All down to start in replace of the injured Pro Bowler Sam Coward.
What they're doing is faking the snap, and then they're changing the play again after the Bills change their defense. So even the new plan of the Buffalo Bills, Peyton Manning has had an answer for it.
See what his answer is now is on 3rd down and 5. He's going to probably be throwing the ball. Marvin Harrison is wide to the right, the lower portion of your screen.
You can hear them screaming. All that's communication on both sides of the ball.
Looking at Harrison. Now he's going to run with it. And Peyton Manning has an open track to the end zone. Heading for the corner. Manning hit hard inside the 5-yard line. They'd give up that run in a minute not to have Manning hit hard, but he bounces up a 20-yard gain on the play.
He felt that one. I'll tell you what, Don, when you're on the football field and you see your quarterback do that and take that kind of shot, you'll run through brick walls for this guy because he showed that he'll do it for you. Listen to the end of this play. Man. And you can tell even the crowd is like, oh no, not Peyton.
The head sounded a little crooked after that shot.
If you're on Peyton Manning's team, you just can't help but love a guy like that.
Well, he knows everything. Jim Mora was telling me, Jim is a good friend of mine. We worked together when he was an announcer in football, and said, I didn't know you were coming in for the game, but Manning knew it right away. Said, your old partner's coming in. Said he knows every offensive player's assignment, every defensive player's assignment, and he said, you better do it right because he's tough on his teammates to make mistakes, and there's nobody he's tougher on than himself.
He's like an old union boss. He carries around a big stick and he makes sure everybody's in line.
With the big stick, he's got the big right arm. Looking to put up points now. Here's a throw to the end zone, and a penalty marker is down with a face shielding the receiver. Pollard, the tight end, running an end zone pattern. Marcus Pollard. Very fast tight end, 81.
Yeah, you mentioned a while ago he's a basketball player, and those make the best tight ends. Their body position in tight areas to shield the football on a catch. Great hands in tight areas.
We've gone over half a quarter, Steve, without a touchdown. And that's news here.
We've got offside. We've got an illegal man down the field on the Colts and a holding on the Bills.
Regular officials back for the first time.
There are two fouls on the play. Number 74 on the offense, illegal substitution. He did not report as an eligible receiver.
Waverly Jackson.
Holding on the defense, number 53. By rule, the penalties will offset. We're going to replay first down.
So it will again be first down and goal for the Colts inside the Bills' 4-yard line.
And that guy Keith Newman right there, 53, is a guy they think, and they hang their hats on defensively. He is a great player. He's big, he's fast, he can cover guys down the field, and he can rush the passer.
Issuing the ball at the 2 with 7:18 to go in the third quarter. Peyton Manning, 6'5", maybe 6'6", 230 pounds. Always keeps his feet moving in the pocket. Always ready to set up. Here's a handoff. Edger and James bumps ahead. He's down to the goal line, but he's not in. The Bills deny him for the moment.
You know, that's the thing. A lot of running backs are great when they get out in the open field. A lot of running backs can get to the corner wide. The really good ones not only block in the run game, they pick up blitzes, but when you get down close, they got a nose for the end zone.
This is a Bills defense, as you know, Steve, that held the New Orleans Saints to 1 first down in an entire half last in week 1.
And that first down was on a Hail Mary pass.
Handoff. James, man, puts his head down, and the Bills are up to it.
There's a fumble
on the field.
The ball popped loose.
Really a big hit put on by 39 Rayon Hill, who's replaced Henry Jones as the strong safety for the Bills. It's like the Colts keep the ball.
Yeah. You can always tell, and the officials will tell you this too. They don't see the fumble. They see the players react to the fumble, and then you'll see them, you know, throw the beanbags in to mark the spot. The officials are signaled by the players that the ball came out.
Colts offensive line, not particularly big, but very quick, very skilled pass blockers. Probably the most underrated unit in pro football, the offensive line of the Colts.
They played the entire year last year together, and that's unprecedented to come back with all 5 starters again.
Play fake. Here is Manning. He's going to take it himself, and Manning with some foot speed gets it the other way. He's been throwing for touchdowns. Now he runs for one from a yard out as the Colts build their lead to 41-20 with the extra point coming up, and Greg Williams looking for defensive answers as the Colts have really ripped this game open.
There's going to be a lot of teams looking for answers against this offense. They've got so many weapons that are so well schooled and so disciplined. They're very difficult to beat because you depend as a defense on matchups that you can win. This is Jim Mora. He's used to it. It's another day at the office for him.
These guys are all wound tight on game day, though. Every coach and player.
Not wound. I'm sorry, not wound quite so tight when you go up by 3 touchdowns.
But nothing is sure in this game. I mean, Bills are going to have to mount an all-out passing attack. They're not going to do it on the ground.
Prior to the snap, false start, 73, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay.
Adam Meadows, the right tackle, moved a little early. They've got a good kicking game. This Vanderjack's been unbelievable. Last year he hit 25 of 27 field goals, but he missed the one against the Miami Dolphins in the playoff game. He told Jim Moore, I can make it from 49. They tried it, missed it. They went to overtime and lost.
Yeah, but you know what? That kick will make him a better kicker now.
This time the extra point is good, and with 5:57 to go in the third quarter, the Colts move out to a 42-20 lead. We'll be back with the Colts kickoff in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Genuity, delivering BlackRocket, the e-business network platform, on the web at Genuity.com. Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by BF Goodrich Tires. Take control.
Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at the RCA Dillon Indianapolis, as Peyton Manning has now in this game completed 18 of 22 throws for 329 yards and 4 touchdowns. He of course was intercepted once. For the opening score of the game, as Nate Clemens, the Bills rookie, ran it back 47 yards for a touchdown, but that was like rattling the cage. They made Peyton mad. Penalty marker is down as a couple guys start up after the play. Bill Carollo making the signal. Bill, an admirer of yours, Steve, said you were one of the very good players, not only the way how well you played, but the way you played the game.
Yeah, they all say that after you leave the game.
Holding 28 on the return team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Better to said that though than if you were.
Yeah, he wasn't on the crew that threw me out. At least I didn't hold him to that.
We're still mad about that.
That's right.
Green Bay. Who were those guys? Everyone at CBS welcomes you back to NFL football. Our producer today for CBS is Jim Rickoff. Our director, Kathy Barretto. Executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Terry Ewert. We're coming to you from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, where the Bills have an uphill fight now, down 42-20. Rob Johnson, they protected him well. Guy has been sacked so many times, he dumps it off beautifully and has a man running in the open field, and Travis Henry, and Travis motors his way ahead for a gain of 15 yards and a first down.
One of the things that happened in the offseason for the Buffalo Bills was the entire right side of their offensive line was replaced, but these guys right here, Travis Henry and Larry Sanders, those were definite upgrades at the running back position. Those guys are true blue starters in the NFL, but those changes, 5 guys on the offense, 3 of which were on the offensive line, has led to some of the problems they've had getting started this year.
First down for Johnson and the Bills. Hand off, Travis Henry breaks it up the middle. And a penalty marker is fired in by the umpire, which usually indicates not something good for the offense.
It came in very, very late.
Holding against the Bills. Negates a 20-yard run.
See, there's been a lot of talking on the field this game.
63 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Billy Connolly is not happy about that call. You can tell he's still jawing at the official and at the Colts defensive line about it. That's frustrating. 11 penalties for 78 yards, and that's a sign that something's not going exactly right. The offensive line woes actually continue as well, Don, because Jonas Jennings came out in the first half, replaced by Chris Ferris, and he has not returned.
That's tough to start putting in new people in the offensive line where combination blocking and chemistry are so important.
Yeah, that's why when you talk about a football team, we got an official timeout as they discuss things right now. On a football team, there's always, wide receivers, the defensive linemen, the linebackers. But when you talk about offensive linemen, it's always one thing: offensive line. They all go together. They're all one position because they have to communicate and work together so well.
Rob Johnson, again, they finally sack him. They finally get Rob Johnson. He time and again has eluded the rush and run for plus yardage. First sack of Johnson.
Now you can see now the tension's getting high. The officials will better watch out. They're going to lose control as Rob Johnson's slow to get up. Now there comes the flag. You knew this was going to erupt. These guys have been very tense. It's no fun to get beat by 3 touchdowns. And then to have them start talking to you afterwards. There's some. These guys came out here today, and everybody wanted to play well.
And Mora protesting to the side judge. It was them that did it. Rob Morris, his middle linebacker, comes over.
Yeah, now everybody's going to lobby about who was right and who was wrong. We'll see what happens.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 94. That player's also ejected.
Wow.
That's the end of the middle linebacker, Rob Morris, an important part. Rob Morris, who was the #1 draft choice 2 years ago out of BYU.
You see there.
Missed all of his rookie season.
Jim Finn, the fullback, came up and took his helmet.
I know you didn't mean it. Why you hit
You
me?
see there, what happens is in those scuffles, you start swinging at players, you touch an official, and you see there, get him out. Here's the whole play. Rob Johnson gets caught up.
He said, I know you didn't mean it, but you hit him in the mouth.
There you go. Now he gets pulled over. Now the rest of it takes place after you see the pile up. Everybody's kind of catch guys standing around a pile. You see there it's going down. And now watch here. I think an official or somebody gets hit in the mouth by accident. Right here, watch. Keep watching. Nothing there. Who knows? But nevertheless, he has to go.
So in comes who? Sam Sword, a linebacker from Michigan, who is not good in pass defense.
No, Sam Sword is a run stopper.
Man, Johnson gets hit, makes the completion, then the ball is lost, incomplete. And they're coming right after Johnson now. Coming hard up the middle was 98, Sam Sword. The guy who replaced Rob Morris comes in on an all-out blitz and tags him hard.
What happened here? This is the end of the play. Rob Morris accidentally headbutts the official. Bang, right there. That's why he got thrown out. If you're going to make the official bleed, you're going to get tossed. It was obviously a complete accident. It was a complete accident. He says, I didn't mean to do it. It doesn't matter.
They're both really kind of doing their jobs. The official is just an accidental helmet to the mouth. Can't be a lot of fun. Here's another blitz. This time they swing it out. Centers gets the ball. Now, I tell you, the Colts are, even with their big lead, as fired up as the Bills are at this point. The Bills, in their anger, are getting blown out 42-20 in the third quarter. This is really a spirited game, and there's a lot more things that are going to happen before this is over.
It's a division rivalry. These teams are going to play again, and this Indianapolis defense has been maligned because their offense has had so much success. But I'll tell you what, when you have an offense that's playing as well as Indianapolis's is, that defense becomes inspired and they start to play better and they start to get an attitude. And when that happens, and you see there the official's bloody lip, things start to get better for your team.
Now the officials step in.
Rob Johnson
and a timeout is called, yeah.
Rob Johnson had to take a timeout. He's not happy.
3:20 left to go in the third quarter. Back to Indianapolis in a moment.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Snickers Cruncher. Hungry? Crunch this.
Back and ready to go at Indianapolis in the RCA Dome. The Bills have the ball. Third down coming up. They need 6. Johnson stands in. Again, he eludes the rush, but only for the moment. And now the sacks start to build up as the Colts get him. And fourth down arises. Coming in to get him, number 52, Mike Peterson and Chad Bradsky.
Here's the second. This is where the offensive linemen are going to have to start holding up a little better. You see there, Rob Johnson's got to step up into the pocket. The offensive linemen are just getting a little overpowered. This is during the timeout. Larry Centers getting a little talking to from Chad Bradsky. He's not having any of it either. I don't care if you're up by 3 touchdowns in the National Football League or not. You're not going to intimidate anybody because these guys are out there. They deserve to be.
Here's the punt now, hit downfield as Moorman hits it. Wilkins, who ran one punt back 78 yards for a touchdown last week against the Jets, finds an open lane. Look out. They finally get him. It's good that they did because Moorman was the only man back.
It's a flag back inside the 10-yard line as well, very late.
42-yard punt, 14-yard return, but it looks like the penalty call may go on the return team.
I believe that was more of a 52-yard punt. And now that one's going to come back, and that's the first good field position that's happened to the Buffalo Bills.
51 during the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down, the receiving team. Timeout.
So timeout with 2:52 to go in the third quarter. Chad Bratsky icing down an ailing eye. Looks like he took a shot.
Sometimes it's not a fun game. He'll be having a visor on his helmet next week.
1st and 10. Colts starting deep in their own end. Bills going after the ball, and they get to the ball carrier in a hurry. As coming up is Brandon Spoon. They really have this guy rated high. He's a 4th-round draft choice out of North Carolina with 1 week under their belts. Who looks like the early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year? Danian Tomlinson of the Chargers, maybe Chris Winkie of the Carolina Panthers. All these good players. Travis Henry's going to get some good looks. Corn Robinson. Just log on and cast your vote at NFL.com. Hey, one thing, the whole league made a big mistake on Chris Winkie. The Heisman Trophy winner from Florida State. He lasted till the 4th round. He's a guy who's played in the NFL for 10 years. Edgerrin James working his way out of trouble as Manning just dumps the ball off. Jay Foreman brings him down after a gain of 5. See that? Something wasn't right there.
Yeah, he does not pull any punches. You know, John, you and I have been doing games together for a few years. It's tough to remember a stadium this early in the season has been this pumped for a game like it is here in Indianapolis. Both these teams are really inspired today, and it has been an emotional game on both sides, even though the score's out of hand.
Well, divisional game, and the Bills are really looking for some retribution from last year, but ironically the score's almost identical with that 44-20 blowout last year. Look at that throw. This is just a masterpiece of NFL pass offense.
Jerome Pathan ran an absolutely sensational route on Kenny Irvin. At the top, he runs the slant right off the line of scrimmage and then just plants and gets right by him up the sideline. Kenny Irvin had no chance. What a fantastic execution by the Colts. And it just continues here in the second half, Don.
Hey, these corners have looked guys running by him a lot of this afternoon for the Bills. And Pathan's been the leader among them along with Marvin Harrison. 1st down as they get out of jail. They were deep inside their 5-yard line to start this drive. Edgerrin James, very tough, takes on tacklers, gets to the 42, a gain on the play of about 6 yards. Edgerrin James now building up his numbers.
Brandon Spoon down on the field. They cannot afford to lose another linebacker. Sam Coward, as we mentioned at the top of the game, out indefinitely for the Buffalo Bills. It will probably be put on IR, but it won't happen just yet. Now Brandon Spoon, you can tell he is not comfortable out there. He is in some pain. And Greg Williams coming out talking to on his headphones to the guys upstairs about what their plan is right now, about how they're going to cover for Brandon.
How is Greg Williams taking hold as the Bills coach? His organization, I guess, is second to none.
Yeah, during the offseason, it was really difficult to find a fault in the organization. Now, obviously, they haven't had much success. This is Brandon Spoon right there. And difficult to see what happened there. It looks to be, as he lies on the ground, looks to be his shoulder, but we'll watch here. You see here, right there trying to get out on the hold there. His arm got locked up, and hyperextended elbow. What happens so often to these defenders is they try to reach out or they're trying to make a tackle, and the pursuit catches up to the runner. They get hit by their own guys.
Getting back to Greg Williams, it's not a day at the beach playing for this guy. He's hard camp, huh?
Yeah, he is. They had a very difficult camp.
Now for an NFL update, let's go to Jim Nantz in New York. Jim?
All right, Dom, we have only 4 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in Miami. The Dolphins had the lead early 4th when Fiedler was picked by Anthony Dorsett. Then he runs it in for the touchdown. They went for 2, failed, but lead 15-10. Raiders leading on the road. Let's go back to Don and Steve.
Thanks, Jim. Well, that'd be a great start for the Raiders. They would have their first 2 wins of the season if that holds up there on the road.
You see that?
Kansas City also.
Exactly right. Around the league, it's going to be an interesting year. Brandon Spoon's going directly to the locker room. And that's not a good sign. He struggled with injuries during the preseason, had a knee that he took time to get over. And because of recovering from the knee, he pulled a hamstring. So he's been nicked up early in his career here in Buffalo.
Smart, great technique, tremendous worker. And they really think he could be a standout, Brandon Spoon, but looks like he's done for this day.
Look at that graphic. Each team has run 46 plays, but the difference in yardage and scoring really tipped in favor of the Colts.
With still 45 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Manning takes a look, lets it go long. He's got a guy. Marvin Harrison's on the run, and he's taken down at the 28-yard line. Keon Carpenter gets him down, but another brilliant play by the Colts pass offense. Manning to Harrison for 30 yards.
Well, this is a play they ran earlier for a touchdown. Watch as Harrison comes out. He'll fake the out and then just plant and get inside of Nate Clemens, and it takes a great throw and a lot of confidence to throw the ball on a deep route inside the cornerback. You got to know that the safety's not going to be there. And what Peyton Manning does, he looks the other side and gets the safety thinking about that and then comes back.
And that will do it for 3/4 of play. With the score, the Colts 42 and the Bills 20. We'll return to the RCA Dome right after this message and a word from your local station. Colts continue to dominate 42-20. Don Quickie with Steve Tasker back at the RCA Dome. The old adage, if you're going to win here, you better bring offense. Bills with 20 points through 3/4 are not in shouting distance.
Well, Peyton Manning is very good in the early goings of the seasons, and if you look back over the course of his career in September, he has been really tough to top. I mean, he's had some of his best days right in the 3rd week of September, like we sit today.
He has good games every month of the season, though. Last year he passed for over 4,400 yards, 31 touchdowns. Here's a handoff to Edgerrin James, and you got to think they're going to try to run some clock here now.
And you'll see here, this is what I was talking about a moment ago, is Peyton Manning. September 25th of 2000, over 400. September 26th of 99, over 400. And today, well, 394, and it looks like he's going to go over 400 again. This is, he has a pretty good week on 3rd week of September.
Right now, his passing numbers with almost 400 yards through 3/4 of play. 392 through the first to 394 through the first 3/4. Marvin Harrison, the great one from Syracuse. What a day.
85 offense.
6 catches, 139 yards.
And that's the
3
first,
touchdowns.
Yeah, and that's the first time they've actually had trouble with Peyton Manning changing the play to line of scrimmage. Dilger jumped off during the middle of the cadence, and you know, this team is so well schooled. It's amazing that they haven't made any more mistakes in their execution before the snap.
Even their tight ends, though, Steve, can get downfield. They can all stretch vertically, as they call it. Deep ball can go anywhere. Manning sees everybody. Like Marvin Harrison, the first guy he looks for is 88. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus the latest NFL news. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show.
You know, you have to start wondering, they're up by 22 points in the 4th quarter. Do you, you know, Peyton Manning, I think, sit him down. I mean, you're not going to get any better today than you were when you came in.
He's now gone over 400 yards, Steve. 401 yards passing with that last completion. But he needs 7. 3rd down play coming up. Bills come with a 5-man rush, and Manning takes a look, and they sack him. Bills get the sack. Leif Larson, big defensive tackle from the University of Texas at El Paso. So Manning, the punter, doesn't get a lot of work here.
That's exactly right. That's why he's a good. Something he's been sacked one time. He comes off the field. You get the feeling here he blames himself for this sack.
They're going to try a field goal.
And Leif Larson, look at, he's got such strength. Larson, that's what he does best. He just has a bull rush, pushes off, and just gets into the backfield, and hopefully the quarterback runs by where he can grab him.
46-yard attempt. Vanderjagt, who routinely kicks from 65 yards in practice, booms it. And he's wide, and it's no good. Officially, a 46-yard try is no good. And so the Bills take over the ball with 12 minutes and 49 seconds left to play in the game. Greg Williams and his Bills looking for big plays now with the score 42-20, 12:49 to play in the game. Don Quickie with Steve Tasker at the RCA Dome in Indianapolis. Rob Johnson at quarterback, 1st and 10. Looking deep. That interference, they say no. The coverage was good by David Macklin. Avion Black didn't think so. He was the intended receiver. You can help America fight back by supporting the disaster relief effort and helping the families of victims. Give to the September 11th Fund. Call 1-800-710-8002. 1-800-710-8002. New York firemen, particularly policemen, rescue workers, going into the World Trade Center when the other people were getting out and they knew their fate would be the worst, still trying to save lives at the expense of their own. Heroism unequal. Handoff goes to Travis Henry. Takes it to the 38-yard line. Not much on a second down carry. Colts hitting hard. This Peterson is a good play. You don't hear much about Mike Peterson from Florida. He had 158 tackles last year. He's all over the field. Undersized linebacker. Well, what a player.
Yeah, he's an excellent blitzer out of the linebacking core. He's a good pass rusher, and that's one of the things that's been a problem for the Colts. They have to send guys like Peterson to get pressure on the quarterback. They don't get enough pressure from their front line, and for that reason they find guys like Peterson who can make a difference with their speed.
And the speed is the difference maker for Mike Peterson, as he's the leading tackler in the game. Johnson on 3rd and 8. They block fiercely for him. He makes a throw and it's incomplete. Peterson was covering. One positive note, here's a fight starting up after as linebacker Marcus Washington runs off the field before he can be confronted by an angry Bill.
We're going to have another guy get ejected from this football game, and it's going to be Reuben Brown. You see there Marcus Washington kind of smiling. He knows he got the better of it. Reuben Brown is pleading his case. He's just retaliating for a cheap shot he got. He feels, you can see there.
Personal foul, number 79, unnecessary roughness. The play will count to be 4th down, and it'll be 15-yard penalty.
I didn't throw him out. You'll see that. You see there, he's not happy. He retaliated for a shot he took, and the official never saw the first one.
Not what the Bills need. A guy you're paying millions to play in the offensive line, millions a season. What's he get, $5 million a year?
That's a bad football play. Just signed a new contract as well, but you can tell the frustration is evident on his face. I mean, I'll tell you what, the first thing you learn in Pony League is they never see the first guy, they see the reaction, and that's what Reuben Brown did. And it was absolutely obvious and so late after the play. I thought, as you heard, I thought he was going to get ejected. Rob Johnson
he takes a shot here.
Yeah, he got hit well after the play. When he dropped back and let that pass go, he took a shot.
Tarek Glenn. Here's Terrence Wilkins now hitting the ball downfield. Waiting for the ball downfield, and the punt return goes back to his 20-yard line. And a good open field tackle as the Bills make the play. Coming down to make it was Lance Brown, a 4th-year player, played nearby at Bloomington for Indiana University. 56-yard punt and a 6-yard return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. Sprint PCS, the clear alternative to cellular. And by Bandits, a new film from MGM starring Bruce Willis, rated PG-13.
We're back in the 4th quarter with the Colts in the lead 42-20.
This is the play we just saw get a personal foul for Buffalo. Rob Johnson, bang, gets hit. Reuben Brown sees that and then late chases down Marcus Washington.
Better still to block the guy before he gets there.
That would be nice.
Manning taking it right down to the end of the play clock, and here is a handoff. Edgerrin James dancing outside, putting on moves and getting inside the 45-yard line. 10-yard gain on the play. Reuben Brown not happy as he is ejected from the end. It's a tough call on Reuben, though, I think.
Yeah, well, he was so late. I mean, there's no question it was going to be called. He came
an ejection is a lot. Sportsmanlike, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was. I thought he was going to get ejected because he came from nowhere, but they didn't. They just gave him the personal foul. He'll be back in the football game.
James cutting back. Okay, this team is built around these 3 players. Manning at the quarterback position, James as a runner, and Harrison the receiver. Not since has anybody had a 1-2-3 punch like that at those critical positions since the Cowboys, with Aikman at quarterback, Emmitt Smith running, Michael Irvin catching. That group won 3 Super Bowls.
All the teams in National Football League use that kind of as a prototype. The Rams do it. Obviously, the Colts do it as well.
Cowboys stayed with those guys a long time. Here is a throw downfield. That's too high as Harrison goes up but can't get to it. One of the few errant throws. Colts have a real tough schedule in the second half of the season. November 4th, they'll be going to Buffalo, but then look at down the stretch run of the season.
Now, that Denver game is the one that was missed last week and goes on January 6th. But I'll tell you what, all those teams on their remaining schedule are looking at the Indianapolis game and know they've got a tough game too. So as tough as that second half looked for the Colts, they're part of a very tough second half for a lot of teams themselves.
Third down. Manning looks, and they get him. Manning taken down hard back at the 30. So one of the rare sacks of Peyton Manning. The Bills have gotten to him twice today.
That's the reason I think Peyton Manning should be sitting down, Don.
I agree with you.
There's no reason.
Offside defense. Number 53 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Instead of third and about 6, it's now going to be 3rd and 1, and the sack is negated.
And there's Mark Rippon. I mean,
Give
the only thing that can turn bad for the Colts at this point in the season, if they lose one of the guys we've been talking about, namely Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, or Marvin Harrison.
You thought the team that Mark Rippon played on in Super Bowl 26 that beat the Bills in Minneapolis was the best you've seen?
That was the best team I ever saw play. The best team I ever saw, played against, played for. That team in Super Bowl 26 with Mark Rippon was the best team I ever laid eyes on.
And he was the Super Bowl MVP. Now out of football 3 years, he comes back to back up Manning. Hand off, they give it to Edgerrin James. Looks like he's got the first down. This is really out of hand.
Yeah.
Another penalty marker's playing. Is thrown. Not a thing of beauty as we come down the stretch now with 9:54 to play. The Bills seemingly hopelessly out of the game, venting their frustrations, and the Colts are quick to hit back.
Yeah, these two teams are. It's a fiercely proud football team in the Buffalo Bills, as it is in the Colts, and they're not giving an inch emotionally. They may be down on the scoreboard, the Bills, but they're not giving an inch in attitude, and they refuse to be bullied. And the Colts obviously are getting the better of it here today. But you see there, Peyton Manning does not like undisciplined play, and that's what that is a result of.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 86. After the play was ended,
Nathan, the receiver.
We'll go to the succeeding spot.
He's caught 8 for 142 yards today.
Third down.
I mean, they're both going to the head.
They're both going at it. Now, right there, the last one is what does it. If they're both going at it, one of them stopped, and then the other one gives the last little bit. That's the call. And I'll tell you what, it's a good thing we have the regular officials today, because they've had to sit on this game a number of times and get it under control.
Laura, the former Marine officer, he's in better shape at age 65 than most players in the league from a cardiovascular standpoint. It's hard to beat the shape he's in.
Yeah.
Who wear that Stairmaster out.
He's in better shape than I am.
Third down coming up, and a long yardage. Third down and 15. Quick out. Nathan gets it. Look at the blocking pattern for him, and look at this play. What a magnificent play. Third and 15. They go to a quick wide receiver screen. First time they ran it all day, and everybody completes their block for a 20-yard gain.
And I'll tell you what, Don, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a special play that Peyton Manning wanted to call, because he wanted to get Jerome Pace on the first down. He got the personal foul, give him a chance to redeem himself right away. That's exactly the kind of thing that Peyton Manning would do.
First down, handoff, and a big gap for Edgerrin James. He is tough, in addition to all his other attributes of speed and balance. 11-yard gain.
Well, we've talked a lot about Peyton Manning, but look at the guys he's got around him. I mean, 7,500 yards between those two guys right there. 61 touchdowns. I mean, that's.
And they're early in their careers.
Oh, good. Yeah, they are just coming into their prime. Edgerrin James, this is his third year.
That was an expensive lining up in the neutral zone for the Bills. It negated a sack, and they would have gotten it back on a punt. Now the Colts keep rolling, and here comes Edgerrin James again, and he breaks into open field. James is finally ridden down as he gets to the 15-yard line. And the Colts aren't letting up one bit. Too much is not enough.
This game has been the story of two offensive lines. You've got a veteran group who's played together a long time for the Indianapolis Colts, and you've got a hodgepodge bunch who's overcoming injuries with new rookies in it in the Buffalo Bills, and the difference has been obvious.
23-yard run on that play as they had shut James down for the most part running the ball earlier in the game, but now he's really building his numbers. He has 24 carries for 113 yards. This is a guy who led the NFL in rushing last year with over 1,700. Manning fires. Look at that throw, but is it picked? It is an interception, beautifully done by Antoine Winfield, who steps in front of the receiver, and they intercept Manning for a second time today. A terrific play by Winfield. So the Bills with the interception will get the ball on their 20 on a touchback.
Back in Indianapolis here in Buffalo, and as long as these two guys are in the league, the debate is going to rage. Now you can see the numbers are different, but Doug Flutie plays the Dallas Cowboys. Rob Johnson plays the Indianapolis Colts. But those two are going to be compared to each other for the remainder of their careers, no matter how long.
Now they get Rob Johnson sacked all the way back at the 10-yard line. We go back to the graphic. Well, the most significant graphic about Flutie in the NFL today is his 31st start in the National Football League. And he'll be 23-8 at the end of the day as a starter. He's a winning player. You can talk about all the quick releases and reading defenses. It comes down to winning. Some guys win everywhere they play. It's Flutie's one of them.
That's exactly right. And Doug Flutie and the San Diego Chargers, the beneficiaries of a very good first half schedule, going into Cincinnati, Cleveland, Dallas, Washington. Although Cincinnati doesn't look like quite the cream puff they did a year ago.
But Flutie's also going to be 39 years old next month. So they made a decision on the guy's 28. And you know, Rob Johnson, they've done a lot better job pass blocking for him. He's only been sacked today, Rob Johnson, one time. Here's a guy that's been sacked starting in the preseason this year, once for every 5.8 times he's thrown the ball.
I'm telling you that
dropped to throw it.
His offensive line has struggled. John Fina still struggling with a knee injury that he sustained in training camp, and now a backup right tackle in as well, in Chris Ferris.
Throw over the middle and a hard hit. Now they're going to wave it off. Look like sure-handed Centers. They're going to give him the catch. They are. Well done by Larry Centers. Tonight is Premiere Sunday on CBS, starting with 60 Minutes and a report from Ed Bradley in the Middle East. Then don't miss the premiere of The Education of Max Bickford, starring Academy Award winners Richard Dreyfuss and Marcia Gay Harden. Sidney Poitier stars in the CBS Sunday movie The Last Brickmaker in America. It's all here, and that is premieres tonight on CBS. Second down for the Bills at 5 to go. Blitzer's coming. Plays blown dead. Infraction prior to the snap. Bills have run the ball well the first two games.
False start, 72, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Backup lineman in, 72, Chris Ferris, who you're talking about, the big guy from UCLA. False start, so that sets the Bills back and makes it second down and 10.
It's difficult to win football games when you get 15 penalties for over 100 yards.
That is not good. That is.
And that'll be the first thing Greg Williams talks to his team about and his coaching staff on Monday.
They don't have guys running laps anymore, do they? Maybe they should start. Here's a throw. And it is Jay Riemersma unable to hold on to the ball. That'll bring up third down and 10. One thing about the Bills, the guy that they have as their new president, Tom Donahoe, is an expert talent selector from his years with the Steelers. And they're going to keep drafting good guys because he's like Polian of the Colts. He knows who can play.
We spoke to him today, and he said, I asked him, how much input do you get from Greg Williams? He says, oh, I get a lot. He's in every meeting. Tom Donahoe runs the entire draft, but Greg Williams is as much a part of it as anybody in the organization, and those two guys think alike.
Rob Johnson now 16 for 28, 138 yards, no touchdowns, one interception. Now he is going to call a timeout. Make sure his offense is in synchronization as we're down to 6:09 to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Samsung, where everyone's invited to a new world of enjoyment. And by Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light. Are you ready for a cold one?
(42-20). Two bad trips to Indy for the Bills their last two times here. 44-20 was the way they were blown out at the end of last season in the regular season. Bills have only missed the playoffs, what, 3 times since '88, including last season when they were 8-8. Johnson makes the throw, beautifully done. He gets the ball out to Peerless Price, and he's ahead for a gain of 16 yards and a Bills first down. Chad Cota was on the tackle. This Peerless Price is a player. Of course, he and Manning go way back together. They were a great pass-catch combination at Tennessee.
That's exactly right. And now the Bills are going to try and go a little bit of no huddle. Actually, Billy Conity is asking for a break. He's taking his helmet off. He is not all there. Something's wrong. I don't exactly know what happened. Oh, he dislocated a finger.
You say that with I guess it's minor nick, huh?
It's no fun.
Follow all the games on NFL.com, and after the games, get in-depth analysis and recaps from the experts only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. Well, Steve, now you went to the Pro Bowl 7 times as a Buffalo Bill. You might one day be in the Hall of Fame as a special teams player. A very good chance of it, I would think, along with other of the great Bills in that Super Bowl era, like Bruce Smith and Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. Maybe Andre Reed. Marv Levy's already there. But what about the Bills of today? Where are they at? Are they really this far behind?
I don't think so. I think they've got some growing pains. They've got some things to do, but they've got some huge questions all along their roster. But from what I've seen, they've got the answers to those questions on the roster if they can keep them healthy and keep them in the lineup. There's no doubt they've got some holes to fill. But right there, John Feeney, you see the left tackle has been under the gun a little bit. He gave up a couple of sacks in opening day. Billy Conity is a guy they like. There's John Feeney once again. Their offensive line is where I think the problems start for the Buffalo Bills. And if they can get that ironed out and get some guys in there or get this offensive line to play a little better, this team will see some improvement and dramatic improvement right away.
Battled all day, but they've really, by this high-tech passing game of the Colts, haven't been able to stay with it. First down. Rob Johnson stands in, makes a good throw to Riemersma. Riemersma is ahead for a gain of about 10 yards. Looks like he has a first down. The greatest Buffalo Bill of them all, Ralph Wilson, the owner, made a tremendous move and gesture this past week when he personally, in a game that would have been sold out next Sunday's game at Ralph Wilson Stadium against the Steelers, he bought $130,000 worth, over $130,000 worth of remaining tickets to give to police, firefighters, rescue workers, emergency service workers in the Western New York area in honor of the great work they do all over the country. Jeff Burris makes the tackle on the play. Ralph will not be pleased, though. Start of this season.
You know, talk about a guy who lives and dies with his team. Ralph Wilson is an owner who does it. And the Bills and Rob Johnson actually looking pretty good here in the late going in the no huddle.
More markers. At times it's looked like a preseason game.
Snap. False start. 71. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
And I think there's been a couple of instances where the referees kind of put their thumbprint on this game purposely. In the first play from scrimmage, they threw a flag. They've ejected one player, been right in the middle of a lot of scuffles.
16th penalty on the Bills. Nobody's ever complained about too few penalties.
No, they haven't, and I think that's one of the reasons the regular NFL officials are back. They saw the results of staying out on opening day, and it wasn't the results they were looking for.
No, if they didn't get settled by Wednesday, they were out of business. The league wasn't going to bring him back, is what a lot of reports had it. Rob Johnson fires it away. No grounding call as he was out of the pocket.
He was out of the pocket, and also Larry Centers was right there where the ball came in.
Mark Thomas, 90, putting the pressure on.
And this is one of the things Rob Johnson needs to do more of. Just get rid of it when you have problems. And yeah, that was definitely a throwaway, but the officials actually, they want to do everything they can to help the quarterbacks out. I mean, let's face it, the league is structured that way. When you've got Peyton Mannings running around this National Football League, you want those guys in the game as much as possible.
Third down and 9. Here's an all-out blitz, and then whistle blows the play dead.
That was a play clock that took too long. It's going to be delay a game.
Delay offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
They talk about the organization of Greg Williams, but on the field today, it certainly hasn't carried over. He talked about, when we met with him yesterday, he said he wants to see what he sees in practice every day carry over to Sunday afternoon. He thinks the Bills are practicing really well, look really sharp, but they can't carry it over to game day. And now all these infractions is really a sign of an undisciplined, unschooled football team.
Yeah, it's a team still trying to find itself unsure of its responsibilities on an individual level.
Throw and a catch to Centers, and he dives ahead and looks to have a first down. 13-yard gain on the play.
This is the kind of offense that Buffalo needs to stay with more. Rob Johnson's got to dump the ball off late. That's one of the things he has not done throughout his career. When it gets late in the play, he continues to look down the field, but here in the late going of this game, finally, he's begun to dump the ball off, and Larry Centers is the perfect candidate for that type of offense.
Rob Johnson now 20 of 33 for 184 yards. Yeah, Larry Centers is a sure-handed guy. And here's another throw and a catch. Ball taken in by the tight end, Remersma, a fifth-year player from Michigan. 6-yard gain on the play. But when you're down 42 to 20, 3:45 to play, you mean deep downfield throws.
That's exactly right. John Fina gets up limping in left tackle. You might think that the Colts would see that, tries to bring something off the left side. Here comes Marcus Washington lined up.
Handoff, and Centers runs for the second time. Normally a pass catcher, and on second down he's ahead for only a couple of yards as Ellis Johnson, a playmaker from Florida, who was able to get through traffic to the ball. A very good defensive tackle. He made the stop. There is Chad Cota, a strong safety, a threat to come on an all-out blitz at any time. We got to know where he's at. Now he pulls back. Here's a throw and a nice catch. Running with the ball inside the 20-yard line is Jeremy McDaniel, and the Bills have a first down. 15-yard gain on the play. Idris Bashir makes the stop, the rookie free safety.
This is definitely an improvement for the Buffalo Bills offensively. They've had time to throw the football. Rob Johnson has done some things that he has not done in the past. Looked a little better, but let's face it, they came into Indianapolis today and they ran into a buzzsaw.
Look at some of those opening day scores. Look at the Bears beating the Vikings. Atlanta, I say that's one of the most improved teams as they go to 1-1. Right now, and an injured Indianapolis Colt is being looked at on the field, and that is Mark Thomas. Veteran player, has been in the league a long time from North Carolina State in his 10th year. Stopping the clock with 2:38 left to play. Bills go home to Orchard Park to play the Pittsburgh Steelers next Sunday.
That's right. Here in Indianapolis, this is a team, when you're playing as good as Indianapolis has in the first 2 games of the season, you wish you could play on 6 consecutive days. This offense, believe me, it's so fun to play in an offense that like the Indianapolis Colts are putting on the field these days. They cannot wait to get to work during the week and to play on Sunday.
Next time out for Edgerrin James and the Colts will be at New England. They've had problems at New England.
A lot of people do have problems at New England. That's especially within your division. I don't care how bad the team is, whether they're 0-5 or whatever, however bad the start they have. The division opponents are always your most difficult to beat.
2 big draft selections they've made where one guy was sensational, the other guy wasn't, was when they picked Obviously Peyton Manning over Ryan Leaf, and also running back. They selected Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams, who's been okay, but he hasn't been close to Edgerrin James. Josh Williams comes in and makes the stop back at the 25-yard line. Third sack of the day for the Colts defense.
And the rest of the way for the Colts on their schedule, they go to New England, then they get a week off.
Come home to play Oakland and New England, at Kansas City, at Buffalo November 4th. Then they have at Miami, had Miami here, then they're at New Orleans. Their December schedule is really rough. They've got to go to Miami on a Monday night, hook up with the St. Louis Rams.
And they end up in Denver, yeah.
It's a good team, though.
Oh yeah, they're really looking forward to the rest of this year, but they've got something to prove. They have a chip on their shoulders. Last year the last 2 years they've been in the playoffs, one game and out. They really want to change their fortunes in the postseason.
It's George Katabalos, great player at Purdue, a defensive backfield coach for the Colts. Coming up on the Subway postgame show, join Jim, Mike, Randy, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus the latest NFL news. That's coming up on a Subway postgame show. Opening day, I'll tell you, a team is going to surprise some people. Right now, they're surprising the Ravens. That's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. Darnay Scott back in the lineup.
Best runner in football. Maybe not the best all-around back. Corey Dillon gets my vote.
That guy is
He'll
incredible
flatten
weapon.
the defensive tackle with his power.
You and I did the game last year when he set the NFL rushing record for a single game with 278 yards. The Bengals are for real this year.
Well, you finished that bad for so long. You should have some great players in there.
Unfortunately, you're right.
Rob Johnson again is protected well. Here comes the rush. Penalty marker down. This will come back. Rob Johnson running well. He is really mobile. Bad hip and all as he's inside the 5-yard line. But in their backfield, the Bills' backfield, is a penalty marker holding against the Bills. It all comes back, negating a 21-yard gain.
You can see why Rob Johnson is such a find at quarterback.
Holding, 72, offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
The thing that Rob Johnson has needed to work on ever since he's gotten to Buffalo has been his decision making. When to run, when to stay with the play, when to dump the ball off. And the longer he stays in this offense, the better this coaching staff will have, opportunity they'll have to get him better at that. And there's the comparison of the two, 3 sacks to 1. A lot more hurries.
Yeah, a lot of hurries, but he's eluded the rush a lot, and running the ball, he's been very effective. Rob Johnson has 5 carries today for 63 yards. That's after that last one was wiped out. 21-yard gain.
Plus he was injured with his hip. He's been limping around the entire game.
Limping less in the second half. Throw and a catch. Larry centers as the defense closes in. He knew he was going to take a beating. He prepared himself for it. 11-yard gain as we're down to the 2-minute warning. We'll be back to the RCA Dome in a moment. Memories of Steve Tasker at the Buffalo Bills. Number 89 blocking a punt, flattening a kick returner. He does it all, catching a touchdown. You were a great one.
Is it right? Yeah, I had my moments. They weren't that. They were the highlights of my career right there. 13 years, I had 3 plays.
Well, 7 Pro Bowls. I could use you now. You got anything left?
No, I can't. I couldn't be any further away from being a professional athlete.
Those were great days. Growing up in Buffalo and watching the Bills.
This is a guy right here.
1960.
Yeah, and these are guys right here in the Indianapolis Colts that are in for some great days this year.
Coach Moore, they all said they were plenty nervous about this Bills team. They're too used to what they've seen over the years from the Bills. Rob Johnson now, 3rd down coming up. Needs long yardage. Here comes the rush. Here comes Ellis Johnson. Rob Johnson wearing out people, and finally he's taken down. Chad Bratsky. Now here's a guy that wasn't even going to play today. All over the field, a loss of 17 yards.
And that's the crusher right there. Rob Johnson trying to make something happen, and that's when you'd like to see him make a better decision. Bad idea to hold on to the football right there. He's going to try and go all the way back, then decides not to. He's caught, and they have no chance for a field goal. They have no chance for a touchdown. -17 yards on a play like that is a crusher, and that's one of the problems Rob Johnson has been haunted by.
Rob Johnson has gone the distance. Cincinnati going to victor today over the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals are 2-0 on the season.
Tennessee losing to Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Peyton Manning, a popular guy around the capital city of Indiana, Indianapolis and all over Indiana. They had a high school triple header here at the RCA Dome yesterday, and Peyton Manning was there.
How excited do you think that high school kid talking to Peyton Manning, probably the best quarterback in the National Football League at the present moment, high school coaches taking the opportunity to shake his hand. This is his idea. He and a bunch of business partners throughout the community in the state of Indianapolis put on these games with a lot of very small high schools in the Indiana area, in the state of Indiana, and all the proceeds went to the foundation sponsored by him.
And if there's a hallmark about him as a person, he's just like his father, Archie Manning, who's the great player, quarterback. He's a nice guy. He'll never be a big shot.
Those were all inner city schools that played in those games yesterday, and he said that when he was a kid, the memory he had was being able to play in the Superdome when he grew up in New Orleans, and he wanted to give the same opportunity to kids here in Indianapolis.
Bills on 4th down. They need 34. Rob Johnson's going to air it out. Big time arm into the end zone, up for grabs. Touchdown.
Touchdown.
1:25 left to go. It's 42-26. A 40-yard touchdown play. Peerless Price coming down with the ball, and
I'll tell you what, watch in the end zone, this is nothing but a running street fight in the end zone. Peerless Price ends up, but watch had the contact and all the penalties, all the interference, offensive and defensive. They'll never call anything down here. Watch as he slips inside the double team, catches the ball. The Colts defenders have got to play the football, and Rob Johnson lets it go and watches what happens. Ooh. Corey Halsey gets hit by his own guy
now
for the touchdown.
Go for 2. Still with a 1:25 left to play. Rowe, fade pattern, and it is broken up. Beautifully done by Macklin. He felt he was interfered with, but he broke up the play. That's what his job was.
He was interfered with by Peerless Price.
Now the Bills will try an onside kick with a score 42-26. Try to get the ball back.
Watch here at the end of the play. Watch Peerless Price. If you see it, he just hog ties Macklin.
Is this a double header? Haven't we been here a long time?
Oh, now that, I don't know what he was thinking about there. And that's why the crowd was booing. Peerless took a shot at Macklin after the play was over. And you hate to see that as a coach. It gives a sense that your team is, frustrated and mad. And while they should be, I guess, you hate to see them vent on their opponents like that.
You've got to have a high-power offense to give up 26 points and still be in a commanding lead. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS brings you doubleheader action. First, Jay Fiedler leads the Dolphins against Kurt Warner and the St. Louis Rams, while the Chiefs take on the Redskins. And in the late game, some super teams collide when Ray Lewis and the champion Ravens visit Brian Greasy and the Broncos. Check local listings for these and other games, beginning with Jim, Randy, Mike, Jerry, Leslie, and Marcus on the NFL Today. For more, get NFL team reports at cbs.sportsline.com. AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. Onside kick try. And who's got the ball? There's a penalty marker thrown. It didn't go 10 yards, did it?
It went 10 yards, but it went out of bounds. Nobody touched it. They're going to kick it again, probably. Now drop it back 5 yards, kick it again. Now what will happen is
short free kick out of bounds. They did not travel 20 yards on the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty. Re-kick.
10 yards, my man. Anyway, what the Colts need to do in this area, if they can't grasp the football and cover it, what they need to do is tip it out of bounds. That's legal.
Bill George, our CBS statistician, has just informed us the Bills have just been hit with their 19th penalty. Right now, as rookie Dan O'Leary looks on, another onside kick try. Brian Moorman will bounce it down the field. Fielded by the Colts at the 39-yard line. And as the Indianapolis RCA Dome is pretty much emptied out now, you would think the Colts in their wisdom would run the ball and run out the game.
Yeah, they'll just kneel down on the ball now. There's a minute 24 left. Buffalo has no timeouts left. Peyton Manning can kneel down on the ball twice or 3 times and the game will be over.
You've been saying during the timeouts, why don't they take out the starters? That's not the way Mora plays it.
No, he certainly
Manning's
doesn't.
still in. Edgerrin James is still in. Frontline troops all the way.
And there's the Bills have got some obvious shortcomings in playing against a team like Indianapolis in a situation like this. Indianapolis comes out and wins big offensively. But let's face it, Buffalo did look much better offensively than they did opening week. But let's face it, they have got a ways to go. Rob Johnson played a little better today. Travis Henry continues to improve. But for the Indianapolis Colts, they are on an absolute roll even at this early point of the season. They look to be as good a football team as there is in the National Football League, and it's a lot of it's because of that guy right there.
Manning had a terrific day. 23 of 29 completions, 420 yards. Threw for 4 touchdowns, ran for 1, was intercepted once. Actually threw 5 touchdowns, but 1 was to the Bills rookie, who's run back for a touchdown by Nate Clements. And that will do it pretty much as the well, they got to probably do it once more as Manning tells his team, get in alignment. We're going to do this again. So the Colts will go to 2-0 with 2 divisional wins to start the season. That's a big leg up.
Oh, it's a huge leg up. You get these wins in September, you get to the end of the year, and you've got a cushion because you never know what's going to happen down the line. Injuries are always a part of it.
Thanks to our producer, Jim Rickoff, our director, Kathy Barretto, the executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Terry Eward. Rob Johnson, he fought hard all day, ran the ball well, did all he could, but the Colts offense was far too much for the Bills. Johnson 24 for 37 for 257 yards and a touchdown. And we're going to be getting very shortly to Jim Nantz and all his friends in New York, but right now the final numbers up here at Indianapolis with the Colts winning 42-26.
Well, this was a good football game by both of these clubs. It started out very even, and only after the superiority the Colts offense got on track. They struggled early. The Bills put them in some bad spots with turnovers. But by the same token, these are 2 good football games that played a good game today. And the Bills are still looking for their first victory, however.
Yeah, the Bills will go back to Orchard Park at Ralph Wilson Stadium. They'll be playing the Pittsburgh Steelers next Sunday. And so Rob Johnson has to gear up for another very aggressive, hard-hitting defense. And all the penalties and all the altercations started up. Good to see that good fellowship prevails when it's all over.
Yeah, it's easy for them to set it aside after it's all over. Peyton Manning, there's a lot of respect across the sidelines. And in the last 10 years, this league has gotten very small. It's tough to play another team that you don't know somebody on. And it's easy to see that these guys have a lot of friends on a lot of different rosters.
It was a day of enormous offense. 931 yards total offense. The Colts had 556. The Bills 374. Now for Steve Tasker, this is Don Criqui saying so long from the RCA Dome in Indianapolis, where the final score is the Indianapolis Colts 42, the Buffalo Bills 26. They'll be meeting.
Hope you enjoyed the game of your choice, everybody. I'm Spencer Tillman, your NFL Sunday Ticket Guide. I'll be back in 30 seconds with scores and updates from today's early action and a rundown on the late kickoffs right after this.
The greatest battle of the last great war. One hero will rise up.
Here, but let's go for 3. We got another one coming. We're going to go home and get the 3rd one. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Way to go, Chargers!
All right, hip hip hooray, Coach Riley, congratulations. And the Chargers have already now exceeded their win total of a year ago. They're 2-0. Next week we'll be taking on Cincinnati, which has now just gone final, defeating
Buffalo Bills by a score of 42-26. Gaudy numbers to be sure for the triplets. How about this? 421 yards passing for Peyton Manning, go along with 4 touchdown passes. Edgerrin James, 111 yards, 5th consecutive 100-yard performance for him. Previously, that record was held by Eric Dickerson. Marvin Harrison, 7 receptions for 146 yards. So the high-dollar guys earning their money today. Let's take a look at some other scores around the league early today. And a shocker. How about this? Cincinnati, 2-0 now, 21-10 winners over Baltimore. John Kitna threw for a touchdown and ran for another. It's tough to win when you have 6 turnovers, as did the defending champions. Other scores, another upset. Jacksonville has defeated Tennessee by a count of 13-6. Eddie George, 79 yards. Stacey Mack with 80 yards, 1 touchdown, replacing Fred Taylor. Steve McNair out with a shoulder injury. O'Donnell was not able to bring the win home. All right, everybody, some other scores to pass along. Oakland and Miami, 18-15, the final there in that contest. Jay Fiedler punching it in late with 5 seconds to go. Chicago hammered Minnesota 17-10. Minnesota offense non-existent so far this year. Atlanta with the 24-16 win over Carolina. Other scores to pass along. San Diego, 32-21 winners in spite of Emmitt Smith moving up into the number 2 spot all time and rushing. Only Walter Payton is ahead of him. He passed Barry Sanders. New York Football Giants, despite 3 interceptions by Kerry Collins, 13-3 winners over Kansas City. And Detroit and Cleveland, 24-14 winners over Detroit. Other scores to pass along to you in the late games that are just underway. New York Jets, New England, Philadelphia, and Seattle. St. Louis and San Francisco all scoreless with play in the first. Enjoy the game of your choice, everybody. I'll see you later for a full wrap-up on all the action here on NFL Sunday Ticket.
I said, what that head-to-head contact? He said, I don't know, but he got the hell knocked out of him.
There's the battle between Hopkins and Bruce Smith, which will be a good one all night long.
Watch the holding, ref. He spun me all the way around. Oh, that ain't necessary now. All right. Damn it. Man, I had him like 2 or 3. I beat him clean, and I came around there. He came outside of me.
Yeah, you gotta get going. Let's go now. Arrowhead, baby. Arrowhead. Come on. Best stage in the world now. Arrowhead. The
reason this is special is the guys that are wearing the jerseys, though.
That's right. And those people wearing the jerseys up there help. I'm a Chiefs fan. Daddy was a Chiefs fan, too. Hey, guys. Guys. It's AFC football, baby. Chiefs, Monday night. Let's take it to these guys. We owe them.
Yeah, baby.
These guys knocked us out last year. We're going to take it to them tonight and knock their will out on 3-0 line. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's go, guys, right now.
16/loss.
Hey, come on, baby. It's a good drive. We got a score, though, guys. Can't put it in the kicker's hands. All these penalties are keeping their drive going. They can't move the ball with that. The hell? The defense can't stop that dude. I don't know what the deal is.
Second down and goal from the 2. Another penalty. Kitna throws, and it's caught.
You gotta be kidding me. All right, guys, let's go get ourselves 7 right now. Got to answer a score with a score. Hey, guys, we got to carry our boys for a while here. Let's go until they get figured out. I flattened him pretty good, and the back hit right in here, and he's put his. I didn't think, yeah. See, I have him there. See that?
1-yard touchdown back.
It's a 32.
Wide right, zebra counter motion, 70x hook, fullback wide left.
32. Shoot, Will. 94. Hey, answer a score with a score. Let's go.
This is Lou Groza of the Cleveland Browns. Hi, Ohio for Cleveland.
Been to the big dance, had my share of fame. Sometimes I just want to go and get back in the game. Toss a few more touchdowns, belt some more home runs.